Ted Butterman Band kicking it old school to start Lollapalooza weekend here in Chicago. We're set for the Hyundai leadoff man. Cubs baseball coming up as they return home on a 5-game winning streak. Hi again, everyone. I'm Len Casper. The Cubs winning last night in Pittsburgh. A weird trip. They lost the first 5 games, but then won the final 5. Last night, a nice come-from-behind win late as they beat the Pittsburgh Pirates for the 4th consecutive game. Jeff Samardzija got the win in relief. The bullpen was excellent after Rodrigo Lopez struggled early on. 10 home runs in that 4-game series for the Cubs. It's the first time in more than 91 years that they had lost at least 5 and then won at least 5 on the road. So we check out the standings. The Reds were off yesterday. They've been all over the place, up and down throughout the season. The defending division champs are way on the edge right now of the playoff race. Cubs with a ways to go to try to catch them, but a chance here this weekend with a 3-game series. We'll hear from Mike Quade when we come back, and as we go to break, our Chicago and Northwest Hyundai Dealers Spotlight reminds us to check out the award-winning Hyundai Sonata and the all-new Hyundai Elantra at myhyundai.com. Brought to you by your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers. Check out the award-winning Hyundai Sonata and the all-new Elantra at myhyundaichicago.com. Welcome back to the Hyundai leadoff man. 50 games to go for the Cubs here in 2011, and they know the end game at this point. You saw the standings, but all you can do is try to finish as strong as possible. Remember, the Cubs went 24-13 over their final 37 under Mike Quade last year. Let's hear from the Cubs manager about this bizarre road trip that started with 5 losses and finished with 5 victories.
Yeah, it was a good finish. I mean, the game will drive you nuts, but you know, you roll into Milwaukee and struggle to score runs there in a place we've scored, and you know, I mean, you got to tip your hat to their pitching some, but then the craziness in St. Louis, and then really put it together pretty well, and won a variety of different ways in Pittsburgh too. It wasn't like we just, you know, the 1-0 win with Garza. You know, we hit home runs off of Correa and put a lot of runs on the board. A little bit similar yesterday, but had to come back to do it, and then a 4 or 5-3 win early. So it's just all sorts of different stuff, contributions. Bullpen contributions, good starting pitching at times, and then contributions up and down the lineup. So
it seemed the one constant was you didn't beat yourselves.
Yeah, no, we played good, clean baseball. You know, the thing that drives you nuts is I thought we played good, clean baseball in Milwaukee. We just didn't score any runs and lost 3 tough ball games there. But, yeah, we played good baseball, and and hung around and found a way to win even in the close games. And the Garza win was huge for a lot of reasons, and that vaulted us right into yesterday, so it was good.
What's your closer situation?
That's a good question. I mean, Marshall's loaded for Bears, so would probably go to him. But we'll talk to Marm today and see. It's been 4 out of 5, and he's just crazy enough that sometimes he feels pretty good. But that's something that, with all the meetings we had going on and without BP and stuff today, that's to be determined. So, and no reason to let Dusty know that anyway. So
he's really turned it around, though.
Yeah, he has. And the funny thing is that he can be even better. I mean, the quality of the breaking ball is back, but I've seen it even more devastating. So, but he's pounding the zone. If you recall back to our last trip to Pittsburgh, he lost a tough 3-run save on that one night, and I think made amends real well.
Tip of the day, stay hot. Cubs looking for their 6th in a row. Tip of the day brought to you by AutoZone. Man, brought to you by your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers. Check out the award-winning Hyundai Sonata and the all-new Elantra at myhyundaichicago.com. Getting you set for Cubs baseball today, Ryan Dempster will get the ball against one of his former teams, and Mike Leake will go for the Cincinnati Reds. As we wrap up the leadoff man, the Cubs minor league report, Nick Struck with the win for AAA Iowa. Brett Jackson heating up. He's hitting .429 over his last 10. For Kevin Roderick, he got his 5th win of the season at AA. Michael Brenly, Daytona Cubs catcher, with his 1st homer of the season. Angel Guzman, 2 innings, gave up no runs. So again, Leake for the Reds, Dempster for the Cubs. Cubs have struggled against the Reds, 2-6 this season and 6-18 back to last year. We'll have Cubs baseball next. From the corner of Clark and Addison here on the north side of Chicago, WGN Sports brings you Chicago Cubs baseball. The Northsiders return home on their longest winning streak of the season, 5 games and counting, as they host Dusty Baker and the Cincinnati Reds. We welcome Cub fans from all over the country watching on WGN America, America's home for baseball. Hi again, everyone. Along with Bob Brenly, I'm Len Casper. Different looking lineup today as the Cubs got home late last night after a 4-game sweep over the Pittsburgh Pirates. And have you ever seen a road trip quite like that?
No, I can't say I have, Len. And with all due apologies to Charles Dickens, it was the worst of times. It was the best of times. The first 5 games of the trip were not pretty at all. The team barely hit over 200, struggled to score a couple runs a game, but then the power bats came alive. The last 5 games were a lot of fun to watch.
Ryan Dempster actually watched the game from home. He flew home early with the late night in Pittsburgh. He'll get the ball today against the Reds.
And hoping to continue what he started in St. Louis. We mentioned the 5-game losing streak to start the road trip. Ryan Dempster's the guy who took the ball last Sunday in St. Louis and got this winning streak started.
Mike Leake, a right-hander, will go for the Reds. 3-0 lifetime against the Cubs. He's been pretty good lately.
Really good on the road. 4 starts against the Cubs in the past. All 4 quality starts. Hopefully they'll have a better idea of what Leake is going to do today.
First of a 6-game homestand, the Nationals come in after the Reds on Monday night. Now down to the field in our national anthem.
Open fire at a political event for Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords at a supermarket in Tucson, Arizona. A passion for politics and a belief in their congresswoman brought many diverse lives together that day. But after a gunman went on a shooting spree, killing 6 people and wounding 14 others, including Congresswoman Giffords, these strangers were bonded forever. Mr. Roger Salzgeber, a Chicago native who moved to Arizona for college, was at the Congress on Your Corner event that fateful morning. When the gunman paused briefly, Mr. Salzgeber was one of 3 heroic individuals to grab and help subdue the gunman, thus saving several other lives from being lost. Congresswoman Giffords is working toward a full recovery from her injuries, and Mr. Salzgeber has been praised by President Obama and others as a true American hero. Now presenting a personalized Chicago Cubs jersey to Mr. Salzgeber is Cubs owner Laura Ricketts. Tom and Laura Ricketts and the Chicago Cubs would like to take this moment to thank Mr. Salzgeber for his courage and selfless act of heroism in helping end the terror that January morning and saving the lives of Congresswoman Gifford and several others. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please rise, kindly remove your caps, and join Seedal Bagat as she honors America with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh,
Set for the Cubs and the Reds. We'll see if the Cubs can continue to hit that long ball. Working on a 5-game winning streak. The lineups, the first pitch, and all the action are right around the corner. Cubs baseball brought to you by Budweiser. A reminder from Budweiser, great times are waiting. Designated driver. Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball and your Chicago Cubs. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Ford, the newest vehicles on the road are now at your local Ford store. Like the all-new Ford Explorer, SUV, 100% reinvented. Visit localfordstores.com. Ford, drive one. And by the Illinois Lottery. Play the Wheel of Fortune instant game from the Illinois Lottery for a chance at $250,000. Chicago Cubs baseball in high definition is brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Believe it or not, the wind is blowing in. It's August in Chicago, but the wind coming in off the lake. Doesn't mean it's cool. Well, it's a hot one in the sun today, but I think Ryan Dempster minds having the wind at his back as he gets set to work against this Cincinnati Reds starting lineup. They rank second in the NL in runs scored. Drew Stubbs will lead it off. 13 home runs, but he leads the majors in strikeouts. Giannis is a shortstop. Joey Votto's hot. What else is new? Brandon Phillips at second. Jay Bruce out in right. Ramon Hernandez is a catcher. Yonder Alonso's in left. Todd Frazier at third with Scott Rowland on the DL. And Mike Leake, the pitcher, handles the bat extremely well.
And let's check out how the Cubs take the field defensively today behind Ryan Dempster. Brought to you by Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball and your Chicago Cubs. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. It'll be Soriano, Campana, and Colvin across the outfield left to right. Ramirez and Castro will be on the left side of the infield. Blake DeWitt getting his 10th start at second base. Good numbers against Mike Leake, 4 for 8 lifetime. Carlos Pena over at first base. Coy Hill doing the catching today for veteran right-hander Ryan Dempster. Mentioned he started the 5-game winning streak against the Cardinals last Sunday. 6 innings, 7 hits, gave up only 3 runs in that ball game. Very solid effort by Dempster in that game.
Check in on the umpires as we get started. In his 28th year, Dana DeMuth, the crew chief, will work the plate. Danley Nart and Eddings around the bases. Here comes Drew Stubbs. Boy, it's been a strange year for the Reds. I think they've just been waiting to get hot. They actually started the year 5-0, but really have hovered around 500 all year. A few games over, a few games under, and currently 3 games under that break-even point.
And you look at the team stats for the Reds. They're in the upper third in team batting average, in the lower third in team ERA, third in the National League in team defense. They still catch the ball very well.
A foul strike on Drew Stubbs. We are underway. 142 strikeouts, most in the majors for Drew Stubbs, a leadoff hitter out of the Alfonso Soriano mold. A little bit of an all or nothing guy. He's got good power.
Also has good speed. Leads the Reds with 27 stolen bases in 34 attempts. Good guy to keep off the bags in this series.
Dempster's 0-2. Just missed the outside edge. How you doing? You all right?
So far so good.
Okay. Took about 2 pitches last night.
Oh, actually 1. It was the first pitch
Was
of
it
the
the first
game.
pitch?
Yeah.
Swing and a miss on a slider.
No, I'm much more calm today. Sleep in my own bed last night. Put everything into perspective. Nice job by Ryan Dempster to set up this slider with that fastball that was just off the outside corner on the 0-2 pitch. Comes right back with a slider in the same location, moving the other way. Gets a swinging strike from Drew Stubbs.
Northeast wind at 7 miles an hour and 78 degrees at game time. Paul Janisch, strike 1. Humidity not really a concern. Janisch was sent to the minors in early July when Zach Cozart was called up, but then Cozart went to the DL. One way to stay out of the sun, I suppose, in the bullpen. So Janisch is back.
Yeah, don't think about taking a nap down there. We will catch you.
The 1-2 on the way is popped up, and Ramirez does not have a play. A hazy sky at the moment. The sun, however, still pretty bright, and you have basically a white sky, and that's why Ramirez has the shades on and had a little trouble locating that foul pop.
Yeah, actually, this hazy sunshine we have here at Wrigley today is a lot tougher to play defensively than if you have bright sunshine and a blue sky. Everywhere you look, there's glare.
Two on the way, and that one's lined hard foul. Keep in touch. You can email us, LenonBob@Tribune.com. We're on Facebook and Twitter as well.
You've got
We even
mail.
have a theme song for that little segment.
You've got mail.
This at bat continues. Fouled back by Janisch. So Dempster already working up a pretty good sweat. Terribly difficult to do on a hot day like this. 3-2 with Joey Votto on deck. Kind of interesting. Ryan Dempster's had a lot of success against Joey Votto and Brandon Phillips. Votto's 4 for 21. Phillips 3 for 26. That's hammered foul.
And hopefully that continues here today. Good hitters like that, eventually those numbers are going to revert to close to what they do against the rest of the league. But Ryan Dempster has executed some really good pitches against those two guys. Boy, what an at bat by Paul Janisch right there, and ultimately draws the 11-pitch walk. We want to let our AT&T U-verse viewers in Chicago and around the country on WGN America know that during every Cubs home game this season, if you go to channel 780 or high def channel 1780, you can see a special multi-view presentation that shows you all of our different live camera angles here at Wrigley Field. It's pretty cool. So if you want to direct the game along with Skip Ellison, give a look to AT&T U-verse channel 780 or high def channel 1780.
Vin Griffiths staying hydrated down there at first base as Votto fouls off. So Giannis drawing the walk. Did you know? I didn't. Bruce Miles from the Daily Herald stopped by the booth and let me know that the White Sox in the 4-game sweep, they lost all 4 games to the Yankees, drew 0 walks the entire series.
Wow.
That's nearly impossible to do.
Do we know how many the Yankees had?
Probably a lot more than 0.
Yeah.
Jim Thome now a couple of homers away from 600, and Cliff Lee just went the distance. Shut out the Giants. Start that 4-game weekend set. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Got him. 2 down.
Boy, good tailing action. Looked to be a splitter. Moving down and away from Votto. Had him out in front because of the off speed, and then had him miss the ball completely because of the movement.
The Yankees outwalked the White Sox 10-0 in that series, and they scored 34 runs. Outside to Phillips. I mentioned his numbers against Ryan Dempster. Phillips has been an all-star each of the last 2 years. Ground ball past Carlos Pena and into right, and Giannis makes it to third.
Tardy swing that time by Brandon Phillips, but a good result for him as he shoots that ball past Carlos Pena into right field. No chance to get Giannis at third base, but that's what Tyler Colvin should do. Pick up the ball, throw it toward third base, make sure you hit the cutoff man. You might be able to bait Brandon Phillips into taking too big of a turn around first base. That time he was heads up and stopped on the bag at first.
So 2 on for Jay Bruce. First time All-Star. Just 24 years old. He's hitting 7 straight. And he takes ball 1 high and outside. We should note, we talked about it on the trip, Paul McCartney had 2 raucous concerts here on Sunday night and Monday night. So the grounds crew very busy in the aftermath, repairing the outfield grass. But Roger Baird and his crew does a wonderful job.
course, you mean Sir Paul McCartney.
Sir Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
I apologize. Two and 0.
A good meeting to the mound that time, in my estimation, by Coy Hill. Ryan Dempster with that Paul Janisch at bat really labored before the base on balls. Came back to strike out Joey Votto. You know there were a lot of pressure on all those pitches, and then the base hit by Phillips, and Coy Hill said, "I'll give my pitcher a little bit of a breather out here in a long first inning."
3 and 0. Now you have Ramon Hernandez on deck, but he's the one guy who really has done damage against Dempster. He's 7 for 15 in his career. He's missing high. It's a second walk of the inning, and that loads the bases.
It's amazing how quickly you can go from being in a good groove out there on the mound and hitting your spots and changing speeds well to losing your release point. None of the pitches to Jay Bruce even close to the strike zone that time.
Hernandez putting together a nice offensive season. Takes a strike. At a .484 slugging percentage, he's put together a really good season.
Yeah, the Reds catching tandem actually doing a nice job. Ryan Hannigan the stronger defender, Ramon Hernandez the stronger offensive player. Pretty good situation for Dusty Baker.
Hernandez has been a lot better at home than on the road, however, and he's in an 0-2 hole here with 2 outs. Talking with Dusty briefly before the game, they have been all over the map, the Reds, lately. Last 2 weeks they've won 2 series, they've lost 2. The 2 they lost were to the Mets and the Astros, and the 2 they won were against Atlanta, and then they swept the Giants. Go figure.
Well, I gave up trying to figure out this game a long time ago.
Season high 7.5 games out of first. You touched on something last night. Not quite sure who was pitching at the time, but the idea of not having to always throw a pitch in the strike zone and maybe rushing to get an at bat over with. It's 0-2 here, and you know Dempster'd love to get out of this thing on the next pitch, but he knew he had a couple of pitches to work with against a veteran hitter.
Yeah, we were talking about James Russell last night and his progression as a young pitcher in the major leagues and learning when you need to throw strikes, when you can lead hitters out of the strike zone. And yeah, it's a natural tendency when you jump ahead of a hitter 0-2 to want to put him away on that next pitch. And some hitters you can, other guys you need to use all the pitches available to ultimately get that out.
Well, he gets him on the 1-2 and gets out of the inning. They leave him loaded. Here come the Cubs against Mike Leake. Brought to you by Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball and your Chicago Cubs. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. We mentioned some changes. Campana is center. Blake DeWitt in there for Darwin Barney. And Coy Hill doing the catching.
Look at the Reds defensively. Left fielder Yonder Alonso, their #1 pick back in the 2008 draft. An offense-oriented player. Should be an adventure out there defensively here at Wrigley Field. Drew Stubbs in center. Jay Bruce over in right field. It'll be Frazier, Yanish, Phillips, and Votto across the infield. Ramon Hernandez doing the catching today for right-hander Mike Leake. Nine 6 on the season. ERA under 4. Features a fastball, a cutter, a slider, a changeup, an occasional curveball.
That's it?
Yeah, that's all so far. Yeah, Mike Leake's cutter is as fast velocity-wise as his regular fastball. Most guys, when they throw their cutter, lose a few miles per hour off of that heater. Not Mike Leake.
First pitch was a sinker to Castro for a strike. It looked like the cutter right there. 1-1 on the Cubs leadoff man. With a game-winning homer in a 1-0 win 2 nights ago in Pittsburgh. What a series he had as that's popped up. And the wind will push it farther back into the stands. Matt Garza, Andrew Kashner look on. Kashner kind of in that every other day on the mound mode as he rehabs a shoulder injury. Two and two.
And another thing about the Mike Leake cutter, he'll use it on both sides of the plate. A lot of right-handed pitchers to right-handed hitters only throw the cutter on the outer third of the plate, moving out toward the corner. Now, that was one right there. He throws it right at the right-handed hitter and tries to nip that inside corner.
And he almost did.
Almost did, just off of that corner. Saw Ramon Hernandez really push that ball back toward the plate. You're not going to get the call on that one.
23-year-old to the 21-year-old, and Castro wins that battle as he bounces it into center. The National League's leading hitman, Starlin Castro. That's number 144 on the year.
Leake normally a really good fielder. That ball took a bounce out in front of home plate and shot past him into center field before he could react. He was lucky to get his face out of the way of that bouncer.
Eighth overall pick in the 2009 draft. As Campana takes ball one, Leake became the 21st player since the draft started in 1965 to go directly to the majors. He skipped the minors completely. Although he did go to the minors for a couple of weeks at AAA in May, the first time he had ever been in the minor leagues. Before returning, and he's been very good, particularly since the All-Star break. 3 starts and a sub-2 ERA. Got a no decision in his major league debut against the Cubs last year in Cincinnati, and he's 3-0 in 4 career starts.
And Leake, one of those pitchers that does a lot of things well. I mentioned he's usually a pretty good defender out there on the mound. He swings the bat well. He can get a bunt down. He runs well.
Campana shoots that ball into the left field corner. Alonso has it get past him. Castro will score easily. Campana on his way to third. Ivan De Jesus is going to send him. He will score standing. How about an inside the park home run? Well, you mentioned it could be an adventure for Alonso in left field. He never got a glove on that ball. It rolled all the way to the wall, and it was almost routine at that point.
Yeah, I mean, in his defense, Yonder Alonso is a first baseman by trade. They're just trying to find a place to play him to get his bat in the lineup. And first game at Wrigley Field with all the odd angles and surfaces, he really had some issues with that one.
First career homer for Tony Campana against his hometown Reds.
Wow. If he'd have kept running, he'd end up with a home run and a double.
A 6-base hit. That's lined into right for Ramirez. It'll get to the barrier. Bruce will pick it up. It's a double. Cubs are a triple away from the first inning team cycle.
Well, there's a lot of beautiful things in the game of baseball, but watching a guy who really can run, get around the bases is one of the better ones. Tony Campana, not only with great speed, turns the corners well, hits the inside of the bag, and inside the park home run. Probably about 14 or 15 seconds it took him to streak around the bases.
The last Cub to hit an inside the park home run was Giovanni Soto in Houston. I believe it was that ball that caromed off the facade in deep left center.
Similar speed, but different venue.
Yeah. Now Carlos Pena takes a cutter inside. This place still buzzing after the speedster just circled the bases. Fouled that one off his front foot. Carlos with a home run last night and a bases loaded walk later to tie it up. Crushed foul. So the Cubs keep hitting home runs.
Yeah, watching Tony Campana this season, there's a good chance when his career ends, whenever that is, he'll end up with more inside the park home runs than outside the park home runs.
The last Cub to hit an inside the Parker at Wrigley was Sammy Sosa against the Pirates 10 years ago. That's how rare it is. Single, home run, double to greet Mike Leake. All three balls have been hit very hard. Now 3-2 on Pena. Haven't let him get comfortable yet.
Pena's getting a real good look at Mike Leake. He's laid off a couple of tough borderline pitches in this at bat. Saw the ball immediately out of Mike Leake's hand. That's a good sign.
Called strike 3 on the inside corner. Earlier today, these lucky fans won Illinois Lottery instant game tickets and could win cash instantly. There will be a lucky row of winners during each Cubs home game this season. Remember, Cubs fans, you can play the Wheel of Fortune instant game from the Illinois Lottery for your chance at $250,000. Blake DeWitt started in left last night and hit a 2-run homer, and he's at second base today. I know you did this occasionally with Craig Counsell, but you know, Blake DeWitt's the kind of guy every 10 to 14 days. Mike Quade could start him 3 or 4 days in a row at a different position. Just move him around and give everybody a break. Could start him in left, at second, at third, even at first if you had to.
Those are valuable guys to have on a ball club, to, as you said, to spell other starters in your lineup. And the fact he's a left-handed swinger and has been swinging the bat well lately makes it easier to plug him in there today at second base for Darwin Barney.
Just caught the outside corner. It's 3-1. Reds got here late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, so they had about a 24-hour head start on the Cubs getting into Chicago, but sometimes those things really don't matter. That's foul.
And I'm sure some of the Reds players made very valuable use of their off day here in Chicago. And their night off in Chicago. It's hard not to. I said it yesterday. It's the greatest city in the world, especially in the summertime when the weather's nice. Every player loved to have an off day in Chicago, and Reds may be showing some after effects of that off day.
Fly to right. Jay Bruce drifting, and he will get it. Ramirez holding 2 outs. And it's Alfonso Soriano. So you have Alfonso in left for the Cubs and Alonso in left for the Reds. Yeah, for a guy who had never played left field at Wrigley before today, that's probably the most difficult play he could make.
Yeah,
that ball hit by Campana.
Right up against the barrier down there. The ball came over the bullpen mounds, took kind of a funny carom. Not an easy place to play, even when you play here every day. You know, the upside for Alonso out there in left field, he's a very polished hitter. Came out of a big-time program at the University of Miami. Reds have been very impressed with the at-bats he's put together in his time here at the major league level, and they're just going to have to suffer with the glove until he gets more reps out there in left field.
He has taken some grounders at third. He's never played that position in the pros. But Scott Rowland just had another left shoulder operation. Fly ball out to right center, but again, the wind is not going to help a ball like that today. Tony Campana didn't need the wind because he runs like the wind. An inside the park home run, 2-0. major league home run, and of the inside the park variety. And he can hang around for a few years. It probably won't be his last. Alonso bounces to DeWitt. One pitch, one out here in the second.
Hey fans, watch the Cubs take on the Reds this Sunday at 1:20 right here at Wrigley Field. Be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans receive a Cubs keychain light, compliments of ComEd. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
The third baseman Todd Frazier, we mentioned Roland. He was already on the DL for the second time this season due to a left shoulder issue, which has been a problem for him for a while, and he's expected now to miss 4 to 6 more weeks after a procedure to remove bone spurs and fragments. Castro makes a grab. Don't forget to check out our WGN baseball blog on WGNTV.com. Click on the sports link and look for Len and Bob's blog. I have a post on the Cubs' 5-game winning streak. We have game notes from stats and much more. Always some good photos at WGNTV.com. Now Mike Leake, who has not an easy out. He has 9 hits this season. Last year he led all NL pitchers in batting average at .356. And he pinch hit 4 times as well.
.25 hits over the last 2 seasons, third most among pitchers. Only Giovanni Gallardo and Randy Wolf have more than Mike Leake.
Leake, an Arizona State product. Kicks right up into the midsection of Aramis Ramirez, who throws him out. Nice job by Dempster. Shut down second after the Cubs gave him the lead.
With Mike Quaddy, log on to WGNTV.com right now and click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner to connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and information while you're watching at home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escapes, pools, patio sets, play sets, hot tubs, and more.
We like more.
Yeah, we like more. More is good.
Tyler Colvin has 3 career hits in 9 at-bats against Mike Leake. All 3 have been home runs. Slicing drive down the left field line, out of play. Everything else around baseball is under the lights tonight. This one the only game going.
Well, and thinking back to Tyler Colvin's home run in Pittsburgh, that one hopped into the Allegheny River. How'd you like to see him hit that same ball here at Wrigley with the wind blowing out one day? And we saw Glenn Allen Hill hit the rooftops in left field quite a few years ago. Tyler Colvin might have been able to reach the rooftops in right with that blast he hit in Pittsburgh.
Speaking of which, deep to right for Colvin. And the wind blowing in today still didn't matter. His 4th career hit against Leake. They've all been home runs. Right on cue.
Love to watch a hitter when he's locked in at the plate, and certainly the past experience that Tyler Colvin has had against Mike Leake plays into that confidence. Boy, nice swing down and through the ball, got tremendous backspin that allowed that ball to cut through the wind and easily reach the bleachers in right field.
Coy Hill with a pop fly out into left center. Stubbs and Alonso. It'll be Stubbs to make the play.
Tyler Colvin understands that this is a tremendous opportunity that he's getting here since the trade of Kosuke Fukudome. Jim Hendry said that Colvin is going to get the majority of the playing time. Mike Quadia said he's going to play against righties and lefties, will only get the occasional day off against a tough left-hander. It's right there for him to take advantage of, and so far he has swung the bat extremely well.
The 1-0 to Dempster. Cutter is outside. 2-0. Well, for years, the Cubs have been looking for more power, home run power from the left side. They've gotten it from Carlos Pena this year. And you had Fukudome, who's not here anymore. Colvin, DeWitt. He's kind of piecing together as many as you can from the left side of the plate. Tap back to Leake. Join JDRF Illinois on August 10th at Wrigley Field for Ron Santo Night. Before the game, the Cubs will unveil a statue in his honor outside the ballpark. To help honor his JDRF legacy, the Cubs will donate $10 to JDRF from each online bleacher and terrace reserved outfield purchase when you type JDRF as a special coupon code. Visit Cubs.com to order your tickets today, and be sure to select the appropriate seats and type JDRF as the coupon code. It comes up this Wednesday. Another base hit for Castro. He's 2 for 2. Started the day on pace for 207 hits.
Well, and we see teams play an exaggerated pull shift for Carlos Pena. The Cubs have done it against some opposing players. Starting to wonder why teams don't line up their infielders up the middle of the field for Starlin Castro. The overwhelming majority of his base hits are right back over the mound into center field. And teams continue to split those middle infielders and give him a lot of room to hit to. Play that I formation defense.
Castro takes off. Campana swings away and bounces foul.
Well, I would expect to see Starlin Castro running throughout the course of this at bat by Tony Campana. If Cubs have a lead in the ball game, if Castro happens to get thrown out at second base, you've got a legitimate leadoff hitter in Tony Campana leading off the third inning.
Campana bunted it too hard as Leake will throw him out. And the inning is over. Colvin led off the frame with a home run to right. The Cubs have hit 2 today and lead 3-0.
See the European Raider, Ponte, and a Million shocker. Then
that was the 28th running of the Arlington Million, and the 29th will be right here on WGN and WGN America. And great to have with us a veteran broadcaster and now the Senior Director of Marketing and Communications at Arlington Park, Howard Sudbury. Howard, nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Len and Bob. Good to be back at Wrigley Field again. By the way, the horse that ran second in that race, Gio Ponte, is going to be back, trying to tie John Henry as the second two-time winner of the Million next Saturday.
And right here on WGN at 5 o'clock, and you and Dan Roan will have all the action.
We are, and it's a great event. If you can't get there in person, watch it on WGN because it's going to be a great broadcast. But really, anybody that has been around Chicago and goes to Wrigley Field or Bulls games, Bears games, this is an event that everybody should go to at least once and put it on your calendar in the summer. As there are, women dressed up, with hats, and there are drink specials, and you can bet some money on the horses. It's an event. It's a happening. It's a great day.
2 balls, no strikes on Drew Stubbs. Cubs lead 3-0 here in the third.
Am I the only guy in Wrigley Field with a suit on, by the way?
I think so.
Maybe, yeah. Howard. Yeah.
Yep.
Now the 2-0 on the way, and Stubbs drills that one out to Tyler Colvin for the out.
Well, what can fans expect if they do make it out to Arlington Park? I mean, I'm sure there are some preliminary races and some other events taking place before the big race.
There are 12 races that day. Post times at 12:15, so races all day, and there are 3 really big ones. The Secretariat Stakes, which is for 3-year-olds on the grass, and the favorite in that race is by a local-owned group named All In Stables. They have a horse by the name of Wilcox Inn, so everybody's rooting for them. They have a party in the winner's circle if they win the race. Foul back. I get to do some play-by-play. There's my fantasy, all right?
Yeah.
And then the Beverly D, that's for fillies and mares, and then the Arlington Million. So these are world-class horses. I mean, they're in from all over the world. There are owners, trainers, and jockeys in from everywhere. 35,000 people there. There's a real, electricity in the air. It's a happening, as I said.
Campana will retire Janisch. You mentioned the international flavor. What other countries are represented?
Well, England, Ireland, France will be there. There are horses that come in from Dubai. So, it's all over the world. We've got a deal for WGN viewers right now, too. One of the brass at Arlington Park just texted me a few minutes ago and said that any viewer of WGN that goes to arlingtonpark.com, goes to our ticketing page, and types in the promo code WGN, you get 50% off a ticket for the Arlington Million. I can do you guys better than that, but you probably got a ball game, don't you? So maybe I'll text you a winner. I'll make a bet for you. How's that?
Sounds good.
Have you been to Arlington Park?
I haven't yet, but I'm going to get out there.
Well, it's tough for you because we run at the same time during your season. So on your rare off days, you owe it to yourself to get out there. It's one of the most spectacular venues in the world. That's really one of the star attractions when you come in there. The landscaping, the building itself, it's a great atmosphere. But what more could you want? You get to have a few drinks, you get to eat some great food, and you get to bet on horses and make a little bit of money.
Guaranteed?
No, of course not. But I'll give you some guidance. I mean, you read our program guide and our you go into the racing forum and we'll give you a little bit of guidance. We'll give you some direction. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but if you just bet on the favorite all day, you've got a 33% chance to win. And I'm a front runner, right? The Cubs have won 5 in a row, and I'm back here at Wrigley Field, and they're winning again.
Looking for number 6. 5-game winning streak, the longest of the year. It was a 3-1 Novato. Big swing, he fouled it off.
And as we said, the telecast on WGN for the first time, and we're really thrilled to have a partnership with GN and put this together. Chicago's very own and a great Chicago event. It was a perfect match, so it's from 5 to 5:30, and post time for the Million itself is at about 5:15 that day.
And that's next Saturday, August 13th. Right here on WGN as Votto takes a 2-out walk. 3 walks given up by Dempster here today, and Brandon Phillips will get an opportunity.
The pitch count mounts, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was a first inning. He loaded the bases. A couple of walks in that inning, got out of it. But nearing 50 here in the 3rd inning for the afternoon.
So not just here at Arlington. How much experience have you guys had around the races?
Well, I was telling Len back when I played for the San Francisco Giants, I broke my collarbone coming out of spring training and spent the first 6 weeks on the disabled list. And I used to go to Bay Meadows in San Mateo, California every day just to waste some time. Best day I had was finding a $100 bill on the ground.
Waste some time, but not waste some money.
Yeah.
Colvin makes a catch. Howard, thanks for joining us. We look forward to your call with Dan Roan. The Arlington Million coming up here on WGN. Go check it out. 5 o'clock next Saturday. Aramis Ramirez leading off for the Cubs in the third. 5 hits in the first 2 innings, including 2 home runs and a double. By far the best stretch of the year overall for this team, and particularly on the offensive side. And you just ride it as long as you can.
I'll tell you, Len, those foul tips behind home plate have a way of finding themselves in unusual spots. That ball was fouled down off the plate, ends up underneath the bill of the helmet on the back of Ramon Hernandez's neck. Oh, jeez. Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN TV is sponsored in part by Mega Millions and now Powerball from the Illinois Lottery. Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot stands at $99 million, while Saturday's Powerball jackpot is at $180 million.
Pena caught looking on strikes his first time up. 3 infielders on the right side of second base. Cubs announcing a couple of updated start times for 2 home games later on this season. Sunday, August 21st will be a night game. That's a 7:09 first pitch. And Saturday, September 17th against the Astros. That's popped up, and a long run for Frazier. And he'll make the grab and foul ground, 2 outs. Will be a 12:05 first pitch, and we'll have it for you here on WGN. It's Saturday, September 17th at noon against Houston. And a curveball miss to Blake DeWitt. Cubs Wives Food Drive benefiting Lakeview Pantry will be tomorrow. Make a donation. 10 non-perishable food items are $20. You'll get a 5x7 autographed photo of a Cub player, and that's a limit of 2 photos per person while they last. Donations will be accepted at Gate D at the corner of Sheffield and Addison from 10 a.m. until the start of the 3rd inning. Game time tomorrow, 12:05. Called strike 3 to get DeWitt, and Leake with his first clean inning. It's 3-0 Cubs after 3. schedule brought to you by Lincoln. It's not just luxury, it's smarter than that. Feel smarter at Lincoln.com. Davey Johnson and the Washington Nationals come in after this series. The Cubs will head out to Atlanta to play the Braves for the first time, then Houston, and then the Cardinals come in on the 19th. (3-0) as the Cubs lead. Ground ball, Jay Bruce, as Pena will take it unassisted for the out.
Well, we talked a lot about Carlos Pena's defensive prowess at first base this season, but that's a play that a lot of first basemen would just hold their ground and flip to the pitcher covering first base. Why risk an unnecessary throw? That's one of the tougher defensive plays in baseball. Anytime you can take it yourself and get the out at first base, don't risk that toss to the pitcher. My theory is the less the pitcher handles the ball defensively, the better off you are as a team.
Hernandez struck out with the bases loaded in the first. That ended the inning. Chris Spire, former Cub player and coach. He was the bench coach for Dusty Baker. And Mike Leake working on some kind of 80s Britpop hair.
Chris Spire was a coach on my staff in Arizona, and boy, one of the best baseball guys you'll run up against. Any aspect of the game you want to talk about, he is well versed.
Got him.
When you play the Wheel of Fortune instant game from the Illinois Lottery, you could win one of 5 top prizes of $250,000 or one of over 52,000 additional prizes ranging from $50 to $1,000 instantly. Good cutter by Dempster himself on that inside corner. Started that right at the left thigh of Ramon Hernandez. Broke it across the inside corner for a called strike 3.
Reds created room for Alonso by trading Johnny Gomes to the Nationals. We'll see Johnny Gomes with the Nats coming up on Monday.
Now, not only Yonder Alonso getting more playing time in left field, but one of their other fine prospects, Chris Heisey. 12 home runs, 38 driven in on the season.
Two and two. Dempster's been very sharp since a somewhat shaky first inning. And a base hit into right to keep the inning alive. We'll bring up the number 8 hitter, Todd Frazier. Send out happy 7th birthday wishes to Ronnie Burton in Callahan, Florida, watching on WGN America. And send out get well wishes to Sue Newton following us on Twitter. Enjoy that new knee. You can relate.
Yes, indeed. Couldn't be happy. Best thing I ever did.
Big hello to Michael Valentine watching in Scotland today.
Also, thank you to Andy Capilano from Round Beach Lake, Illinois. Sent me a nice note today. Thank you very much, Andy. Frazier getting his 5th start at third base. He shared some time down there with Scott Rowland on the disabled list. Miguel Cairo's had some starts down at third base. Paul Janisch has moved over to third on occasion, but I think Frazier's the guy that's going to be a big time run producer in the middle of the lineup at some stage of his career. Swing is a little bit long right now, but when he makes solid contact, especially on high fastballs, he can hit them a long way.
Hit his first career homer on Sunday off Barry Zito in Cincinnati, and then on Wednesday hit number 2 off Jordan Lyles in Houston. And that's high for ball 4 to bring up the pitcher Leake. First and second, 2 down. The pitch to Leake is high. When Dempster has gotten in these modes where he's missed, it's been up.
He just gets a little too quick with his delivery. Doesn't really give his arm an opportunity to get in the proper slot, and that's why he leaves a lot of pitches up. When he's a little more deliberate, takes a little more time to unload that ball to home plate, that's when he's able to pound it right down there at the bottom of the zone.
He wanted that one, didn't get it from Dana DeMuth. 2-0, and Coy Hill will come out. Make sure you join us this coming Wednesday, August 10th at 6:30 for Chicago viewers only. Ron Santo in his own words. That'll lead us into Cubs baseball. And we'll have highlights of the statue unveiling here at Wrigley Field.
I'm just speculating here, Len, but there's a chance Dana DeMuth whispered into Coy Hill's ear, I missed that one. I mean, it happens. Not a lot, but it does happen.
That's a strike.
You mentioned Dana's been in the major leagues for 28 years. Has always called a pretty tight strike zone. Borderline pitches that in many cases will go the way of the pitcher, usually go the way of the hitter.
Broken bat floater. Campana coming on. He lays out. It's in and out of his glove, and the Reds get on the board. A bloop single for Mike Leake. And that's 4 RBIs by an opposing starting pitcher going back to last night when James McDonald cleared him with a double in Pittsburgh. Dempster made his pitch, but Leake muscled it out into center.
Yeah, broke his bat, hit that little floater, the wind knocking it down. Tony Campana with a great effort. Unfortunately, that big, long outfielder's glove just a little too floppy as he hits the ground. The ball comes trickling out of the webbing of the glove. He had it momentarily, just couldn't squeeze it.
First and third, a run in, and it's the leadoff man Stubbs who struck out and lined out. Kick in the 0-1 pitch gets away from Coy Hill. They're going to get their second run. Frazier in on a wild pitch.
Coy Hill just a little late getting out there in a position to hopefully block that pitch. Hits off the side of his right arm and gets far enough away to allow the Reds to put another run on the board.
And now the tying run is in scoring position. And Mike Leake at second. Slider missed low and outside, 2-1. Cubs put a major dent in the Pirates' chances by beating them in 4 straight. The Reds right now 7.5 out. Cubs trying to do the same to them, 2-2. Popped into right, no problem for Colvin. And that'll end the inning. But the bottom of the order got it done against Ryan Dempster. They get 2, and it's now 3-2 Cubs.
CIN are brought to you by Bud Light Lime. Just the right taste of Bud Light with a refreshing splash of 100% natural lime flavor.
Mike Leake getting his team back in the game with an RBI single. He would score another run on a wild pitch. And it's 3-2 Cubs as the home team will bat here in the 4th. There's Alfonso Soriano. He flied out his first time up. Lots of room for Stubbs as he drifts into right center. Let's check out our BMW Ultimate Drive as Tyler Colvin found the seats in right for his 4th home run of the year. Brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana BMW dealers. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. This is a kind of weekend and you'd love to be able to come out to Wrigley Field once or twice, maybe catch Lollapalooza, but just being in the city, just people watching, everybody out and about. The weather has been very good.
There's a definite pulse to this city when you get into the summer and catch a day like this when it's not too hot. A lot going on in town.
Really no better place than Chicago in the summer. Sinker did not come back and catch the plate. 3-1.
Well, you know, Len, I'm a big watcher of body language, and you can tell by watching Tyler Colvin even taking pitches right now that he's swinging that bat with a lot of confidence. You know, when you're struggling at the plate, when you're feeling a little pressure to earn playing time, you're a little more jumpy. Things are moving a little too quickly. But when you feel like you're locked in at the plate, everything slows down. There's a much slower rhythm to your swing. He's going to have to battle in the 2-strike count, but he took some borderline pitches off the plate there that he might have swung at his first couple games back from the minor leagues. And it's a very fleeting thing. It comes and it goes.
Called strike 3 on the outside corner. All 3 Ks for Leake have been of the looking variety as we step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Leake has retired 6 in a row. Coy Hill getting the nod today for Giovanni Soto, and Cubs are 16-10 when Coy starts. 1-2.
And it's not because of his offensive prowess. He's come up with some big base hits this year, but he calls a game behind the plate. The pitchers have ultimate confidence in Coy Hill that whatever numbers he hangs down there is the right pitch in a given situation.
Well, it sure helps when you can use your backup catcher and not feel like you're losing a lot, because you got to give your starter days off. You have to,
especially days like this. Late night game last night, got in here to Chicago early in the morning, quick turnaround this morning to get back to the ballpark. It's an awful lot to ask your starting catcher physically to get ready to play a ball game again this quickly.
Full count, 3-2 with Dempster on deck. Here it is. Ball 4.
Good at bat by Coy Hill just to get Dempster to the plate here in the 4th inning, get him out of the way, roll it back around to the top of the order in the next inning. We talked about Mike Leake having 3 strikeouts in this game, all against left-handed hitters and all on cut fastballs that probably were off of the outside corner. I mentioned Dana Danews' tight strike zone behind the plate, but he will call some pitches to the arm side. In the case of a right-handed pitcher, that's the third base side of home plate, which is the outside corner to a left-handed hitter. And he's gone off that corner on all 3 of those called third strikes.
Ball to Phillips. Backhand flip to Giannis covering second. They force Hill and the inning is over. Off to the 5th. 3-2 Cubs. To win 5 $5 footlongs from Subway. Just be the 500th texter to text Subway to 97999. Go to WGNTV.com for complete info and rules. And it is our pleasure to have with us Blackhawks forward Patrick Sharp, who just signed a new 5-year contract. Congratulations, Patrick.
Thank you very much. It's a big thrill to be here. I got to be honest. I get the channels back home in Canada. I watch you guys call the games all the time, and it's fun to be here.
Yeah, a lot of your teammates come out to Wrigley Field during the summer, and a great place to be. And the United Center is a great place to be as well. I know you came up short last year, but considering how close you were to beating Vancouver and everything that happened coming off the Stanley Cup, I thought you guys had a really good year.
Yeah, I think it was one of those years, ups and downs all season, and it's difficult coming in the year after winning the Stanley Cup. You don't want to make excuses, but there is that, I don't want to use the term hangover, but Bob, you experienced that, I'm sure, in Arizona a little bit. And, we came up 1 goal short in overtime, but, it makes us stronger. We're healthy, ready to go for next year.
A strike on Paul Giannis, 3-2, the Cubs with the lead here in the 5th. September 25th, first preseason game. Blackhawks and Detroit here on WGN. And I noticed that the lineup may feature a few more 5-minute majors this year.
Yeah, Stan Bowman in the front office was busy making some changes to the team. I think we've improved it quite a bit. It's going to be an exciting group of guys. We got the big name returning guys. I'm sure you're sick of talking about Johnny and Patrick, but we got some good veteran players coming in. They're going to spark the team and do us a world of good.
Daniel Carcillo and Jamal Mayers. I mean, these guys are not afraid of anybody, and adding a little bit to that team toughness, I suppose. And you're certainly willing to muck it up in the corners if you have to, but I know your coach wants to keep you healthy and keep you out of the penalty box.
Absolutely. I'm like a starting pitcher. Go out there, shoot the puck, score goals, and get off the ice. Let the other guys do all the fighting and hitting.
Giannis pops it up. Boy, Hill will have plenty of room, and a nice hand for Patrick Sharp. See, we're doing the leadoff, man. We have our backs to the field, so we only hear the response for the person who throws out the first pitch, and you got one of the best ones of the year.
Oh, thank you.
I knew somebody important was throwing out that first pitch.
I was a little nervous about it. You've seen all the highlight reels of the bad pitches. I didn't want to be on that, so I got a big target with Randy Wells back there. I just didn't want to bounce it, and thankfully it went okay.
And we saw you waving to your buddies up in the stands. What do you got going on this weekend?
Yeah, it's perfect timing. We scheduled a bachelor party in the city of Chicago. There's a lot going on, and who wouldn't want to be here in the summertime? So I got 11 of my closest friends sitting up there in the suite. That's who I was pointing to, and we're celebrating my friend Dave's bachelor party.
Very nice.
Joey Votto and Ryan Dempster, the All-Canada matchup here in the 5th inning.
Yeah,
ball one.
This inning's going a little bit better than the last one. I was sitting with Pat and Keith, and we gave up 2 runs, so let's hope we can get out of this one okay. By the way, I gave those guys some Blackhawks memorabilia. It's only fair I do the same to you guys, right? Here's a hat and T-shirt on behalf of the team.
Nice, thank you very much.
Wear it proudly, boys.
Absolutely.
We certainly will. Very nice. Now, you told an interesting story about your jersey number, right? Number 10. The fans were all wearing number 10.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys remember 6 years ago the Hawks weren't exactly front and center on the sports scene in Chicago, and I'd heard nothing but great things about the hockey fans there. So my first game playing, there was all kinds of number 10 jerseys, and I thought, wow, this is impressive. All kinds of Sharp fans already, and until the national anthem started, and they turned around, and it was the great Tony Amonte jersey. So.
But a lot of those now turn into Sharp jerseys, let's put it that way.
Well, we can't forget about Tony. He had some great years here, but I'm definitely thankful to see some Sharp jerseys out there.
Also, the Blackhawks Training Festival starts September 17th, right around the corner, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's been a busy week, and just being around the office at the United Center, there's such a buzz in the air, and then talking to fans. I remember last season, first day of training camp, we sold out practice at the United Center, 20,000 people in there. So we're looking forward to doing that again, and we got a big preseason schedule coming up with Pittsburgh. I got the best player in the game, Sidney Crosby, next to me, of course. And, should be fun.
Now tell us what you did when you had the Stanley Cup. What was your day with the Cup?
It was a busy day. It was wake up first thing in the morning because you only have it for 24 hours, so you want to maximize as much time as you can with it. And went to different places, took it to a hospital, took it to a children's hospital as well. Tried to do some good things with it, and then a couple of those dummies that you see over there for the bachelor party, we're having fun with it as well later on.
Phillips keeps the inning alive with his second hit today.
So I got to tell you, boys, I'm not singing the seventh inning stretch today, and I'm not too disappointed with it. There's the guys right there.
Yeah.
They know they're on TV, so they put their beers down, I think.
Right.
What do you guys think?
Right. I don't know. Looks like a pretty motley crew right there.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun weekend. Well, yeah, get this. I'm not singing the seventh inning stretch. You guys have the American Idol winner, so hey, he's a better singer than I am. I'm more than happy to let him do the job.
Have you done it yet?
I've done it, but I had a backup singer with me. I had Jonathan Taves, I had Patrick Kane, Duncan Keith, and the Stanley Cup, so it was easy up there.
You haven't done it yet.
No,
So you've done it by yourself.
And that's fine by me. I saw Bob do it a couple weeks ago, and that's big shoes to fill. So I'm just fine watching.
So you go down there with your buddies in the box and lead them in the seventh inning stretch. Show them how it's done here in Chicago.
Yeah, we'll get them and show them how you do it here at Wrigley.
1 ball, no strikes on Jay Bruce. Another Canadian team in the NHL. I think it's a good thing as the Atlanta Thrashers have moved to Winnipeg. So the Jets are back. And it'll be interesting to see down the road if realignment does happen and Detroit goes over to the East. I'm not so sure you guys and the Blackhawk fans would like that necessarily with that wonderful rivalry.
I know it's always fun when the Red Wings come to town, and whether it's a game in October, January, or a playoff series, the atmosphere is unbelievable, and it would be a shame if they go to a different division. But we got a big season. We played them, I think, 6 times this year. Hopefully we can beat up on them a few times. We got them in the preseason in September, so the fans will have their chance to see those guys.
And really, Vancouver and the Blackhawks, that's become a wonderful rivalry. And it's not about geography. It's just about how often you've matched up in the playoffs, and those games are so intense.
I think anytime you play a team in the playoffs as much as we have with Vancouver 3 years in a row, there's going to be some no love lost, that's for sure. And both teams have respect for each other, but there's no question we don't like each other. And those are always fun games as well when they come to town.
I have a TV request for the networks when series end, because the handshake line to me is one of the most interesting moments in sports. Guys just beat the heck out of each other for 4 to 7 games. And it's great that at the end of the day, as disappointing as it is for the team that loses and as elated as the team is that wins, you've got to be a sportsman about it. And I just wish they would just show the entire handshake line. I think it's a very interesting moment.
I agree. You see so many individual battles, whether it's a forward and defenseman, 2 guys from the opposing team. And then once that final buzzer sounds, all is forgotten, or most of it is forgotten anyway. And you congratulate the other guy. You wish him best of luck. And, at least that's been my experience, and I'm sure there's been some that have carried over into other seasons. And you look at our regular season matchups with Vancouver, and that's definitely happened. So it's a lot of fun either way.
Yeah, it makes the sport very unique in that regard. Runner goes on the 2-2 and a ground ball hit right to Blake DeWitt. We look forward to Patrick Sharp and the Blackhawks once again on WGN this fall. Congrats on the new deal, Patrick. Have fun this weekend. Not too much.
All right. Thank you very much for having me. Thanks, Len.
Thanks,
Bob.
again, Patrick.
Chevy Youth Baseball League of the Game. Today we want to recognize Brademan Chevrolet for its support of Park Ridge baseball and softball. Brademan Chevrolet and your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers are supporting leagues and young players in their communities through the Chevy Youth Baseball program. From the big leagues to the youth leagues, Chevy truly is the official vehicle of baseball. Special thanks to Patrick Sharp for joining us. 1-1 strike on Starlin Castro as the Cubs lead 3-2, looking for their 6th in a row. Leak has settled down after a rocky start to this one.
And the Reds defensively have moved Brandon Phillips up the middle of the field after back-to-back base hits by Starlin Castro straight over the mound into center field. They now have their second baseman positioned in a spot where he thinks he could get to a ball back up the middle.
Yanish will get Castro. And now Campana, who picked up an inside the park home run, a 2-run shot into the left field corner in the first. The first Cub player to hit an inside the parker as his first career homer since Carmen Moreau at St. Louis on October 3rd, 1948. That would have been Sportsman Park, probably 1948.
Sounds right. You may have noticed Ramon Hernandez there as Leak was shaking off signs. Ultimately, they ended up with the slider inside, and he kind of leaned behind Tony Campana and alerted Joey Votto that, hey, there's a chance the ball may come your direction. An off-speed pitch on the inside part of the plate to a left-handed hitter, more likely to be pulled to the right side of the infield. We see Giovanni Soto do the same thing, especially to the guys on the left side of the infield when they're throwing an off-speed pitch to a right-handed hitter. Just a way a catcher can alert his infielders so that they're at least thinking that the ball is going to come in their direction. I'm not sure how many teams continue to do this, but way back in the olden days when I played, the middle infielders would let the corner infielders know what pitch was coming, so you could maybe get a split-second jump on a ball hit in your direction. And it was always something simple. If you didn't hear anything from your middle infielders, it was a fastball. If you heard a whistle, it was an off-speed pitch.
Campana alive. It's 3-2 after that borderline call went his way, not Leak's. Lined and caught by Phillips.
Good to see Tony hit a couple of balls on the button here today, including that inside the Parker, and this line drive to Tony Phillips at second base. Because of the lack of playing time, his bat had slowed down a little bit. He was having trouble catching up to good fastballs. He was out in front of off-speed pitches, but has squared a couple of them up today.
I think you dropped a little Tony Phillips on us. I like it.
Oh, did I really?
Tony Campana meet Brandon Phillips.
Yeah.
Becomes Tony Phillips.
Or Brandon Campana.
I mean, when Tony Phillips was in his prime, he's a guy every team wanted to have. Play a bunch of different spots, switch hitter.
Good run. Yep. High energy player. Showed up ready to roll every day.
That missed. 3-1 the count on Ramirez. They're excited. They got a souvenir. Three-two on the way. Ground ball. Giannis. That's the inning. We've completed 5. Cubs 3. Reds 2.
By Meyer is tomorrow at Wrigley Field. Don't forget to bring healthy, non-perishable food items with you to the game. Fans that make a donation of 10 eligible items or $20 will receive a Cubs autographed photo. Limit 2 per person while supplies last. All proceeds benefit Lakeview Pantry. For more information, call 773-404-CUBS or visit Cubs.com.
Reds half of the 6th as Ramon Hernandez swings and misses. He has struck out twice against a guy he's had a lot of success against, Ryan Dempster. Bouncing ball sending Castro a bit to his left. Ivan De Jesus has really pounded home the idea of keep your feet underneath you, and Castro's made a lot of solid, consistent throws here lately. It's good to see.
We're talking about a shortstop making the plays in this date in baseball history back in 1972. Detroit Tigers shortstop Eddie Brinkman made an error, ending a streak of 72 games and 331 total chances without making an error.
Wow.
That's money in the bank. If you're a pitcher and you can find a way to get that opposing team to hit the ball on the ground to the middle of the field, and you got a shortstop that never makes errors, that's money.
Inside on Alonso, almost hit him. 3-1.
He started a 2-run rally in the 4th with a single. He would score on the base hit by Mike Leake. To right, and it's Colvin. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Todd Frazier has popped out, walked, and scored. A little bit later on, Chris Heisey's been a tremendous pinch hitter, especially for a young player. Might not be available today, as he injured his left oblique during BP on Wednesday night in Houston. If that's the case, that takes a very valuable guy off Dusty Baker's bench, for at least today.
And not only his pinch hit abilities, but as a defensive replacement in the left field. Used him as a pinch runner for a couple of the slower runners on this Reds lineup.
The pitch almost hit a batter.
Fastball up and in, usually meant to set up the next pitch. Frazier just turns away from that one. Almost caught a piece of that sleeve as he spun out of the way.
Two on Todd Frazier with Mike Leake on deck.
Depths are starting to show some of those non-verbal signs that maybe he's starting to get a little fatigued out there on the mound, taking a lot of time between pitches.
Foul.
This would be a nice break for him here as that ball was fouled down the left field line. Frazier ended up nearly at second base, so it's going to take a while for him to get back in that box and fix his batting gloves and knock the dirt out of his cleats. Give Demps an opportunity to step off that back of the mound and regroup a little bit before making the next 3-2 pitch.
The 3-2 to Todd Frazier. It's low. It's 5 walks given up by Dempster.
Some pretty patient at bats by young Frazier today. In 11 games before this afternoon, he'd only drawn 1 base on balls, but that's his second one of the game here today.
You heard Mike Quaddy on the leadoff man talk about his bullpen situation. He held Sean Marshall out of action last night. Carlos Marmol has been busy, but he would not tip his hand as to whether or not Marmol was ultimately available. If he warms up and pitches, we'll know he was available.
Yeah. Well, and Sean Marshall is a key guy along with James Russell against this Reds team, because you think about Joey Votto, their MVP candidate in that 3 spot in the lineup, a left-handed hitter, Jay Bruce, who's been struggling lately, but big time power. He also a left-handed hitter, and now Yonder Alonso playing left field. So they've got 3 left-handed bats in this lineup that can do some damage. Good idea to have your lefties rested and ready to go for this series.
Samardzija and Russell will start throwing. Here's a 2-0 pitch. 3-0. Stubbs on deck. Some pitchers would be in a take 2. Leake will take this one, but 3-1. He may crank it up if he gets something that he likes.
I think you're absolutely right, especially given their skipper Dusty Baker, very much offense oriented, and he knows he has a pitcher in the game today that can swing that bat. If it goes to 3-1, I'm sure he'll have the green light.
Low for ball 4. So he's now walked 6, including the 8 and 9 hitters with 2 outs here in the 6th, and it brings up Stubbs, who's 0 for 3. Frazier, the runner, at second. Leake is at first. Ooh, big swing. 0-2.
Drew Stubbs is a real good high fastball hitter. That time Ryan Dempster scooted it up there just a little bit higher than he could handle at 93 miles per hour.
Right down the middle on a fastball to end the inning. They leave a couple, still 3-2 Cubs. The game is part of Big Z Foundation Day here at Wrigley Field. Members of the professional women's softball team here in Chicago. The Bandits, Monica Abbott, the lefty, and Z couldn't make contact. Marlon Byrd did hit a little dribbler down to first, but that was it. Cubs baseball brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast.
I'd bring her in to get a lefty out. It's a nasty delivery. Ball players aren't used to seeing that ball come from that angle, that close to home plate with that kind of velocity.
Just wide of first. As Carlos Pena leads off the bottom of the 6th. Marlon Byrd last night got his 1,000th career hit, and Carlos Pena is nearing that milestone. 948, so he's 52 away. 3 Cubs currently with 1,000 hits: Aramis Ramirez, Alfonso Soriano, and Marlon Byrd.
Starlin Castro doesn't have 1,000 yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
He'll get there in short order, though.
Especially if he has a series like he did in Pittsburgh. Back-to-back-to-back 3-hit games to start that set.
Former Cub and current Red Miguel Cairo's 2 hits from 1,000. Carlos Pena did not get a timeout there, and he ends up walking.
The 27th annual Cubs Convention will take place at the Hilton Chicago on January 13th, 14th, and 15th, 2012. Rooms are available now by calling the Hilton Chicago at 312-922-4400 and asking for the Cubs Convention rate. Weekend passes will go on sale in early November. As always, for more information, visit Cubs.com.
DeWitt is 0 for 2. He's got a big hole on the right side. Votto actually, after leaving the bag, is coming in. Thinking DeWitt might lay down and bunt.
Now, Carlos Pena requested timeout on that ball 4 pitch. As we've talked about many times, the umpire does not have to grant timeout if he thinks that pitcher's far enough along in his delivery. And fortunately, that time the pitch called ball 4.
Bounced over Votto and into right. That'll send Pena to third. DeWitt on his way to second. Bruce with a good arm, but he's just going to toss it back into the relay man. Brandon Phillips. It's a double for DeWitt. That's probably routine if Votto's playing back at first.
You see Votto shuffling a step or 2 off that bag, hit the hard dirt right out in front of home plate, and just shot over his head down into that right field corner.
And Blake DeWitt safe at second, safe and secure in New York life. Three of the 4 infielders are in against Soriano, who dribbles it foul into his own dugout.
Yeah, I think the Reds probably wanted all of their infielders in, but Brandon Phillips was positioned about halfway as that pitch was delivered. Now he's trying to get the attention of the Reds bench to see exactly where they want him to play. He's still not all the way in. one thing that will do when you play your second baseman in that position, it holds that runner a little bit closer at second base. When both middle infielders play in front of the baseline, it's very easy for that runner at second to get a big lead.
To third as the runners will hold and Soriano's out. One out and it'll bring up Colvin. They will intentionally walk him to load the bases. Here is ball 4. Righty Jose Arredondo is up in the Reds' pen. Coy Hill at the plate, and Reed Johnson is now in the on-deck circle for Dempster. Here's a pitch, a strike. Cubs have scored 3 runs today on a couple of home runs. One was an inside the park home run by Tony Campana in the first inning. Got him. 2 down.
Mike Leake has such a great feel for pitching. He's been throwing a lot of cutters in on the hands of the left-handers, including starting Coy Hill with a cutter inside. Then he comes back with that tailing two-seamer. You could see the reaction. Coy thought it was going to come further inside. Instead, it tails back over the inside corner for a called strike 3.
So it'll be up to the bullpen the rest of the way as Reed Johnson bats for Dempster. Looks like we're going to see Sean Marshall in the 7th. Ryan Price, pitching coach, heading back into the dugout. Ryan Dempster walked 6 today, struck out 5, made pitches when he had to. Second time this year he's walked 6.
Kind of an odd start for Demps today. At times he was very good, very sharp with his command. His pitches were good, and at other times he just couldn't seem to consistently find the strike zone. But as you mentioned, when he needed to, he was able to make big pitches.
Reed Johnson did not start the game last night in Pittsburgh, but he had 2 hits, and he started the game-winning rally in the 8th with a base hit. Cubs still looking for their first grand slam of the season. Foul pop. No play. They've been out grand slammed 4-0 on the year.
Got to start somewhere. Johnson had some nice games on the road trip. Even some of his outs were hard hit line drives right at outfielders.
Two and one. Finally, Leake is ready, and the 2-1 pitch, 2-2. Different look for Reed. He's got the full beard and the goatee on top of it.
Like a facial mohawk almost.
Right, yeah. That gets Leake out of the inning. Cubs had it. Runners at second and third, nobody out, and cannot score.
That's Cage the Elephant with Soil to the Sun. That's our Bud fan cam. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Now, Len, we asked our Facebook and Twitter friends to give us a suggestion for fan cam during Lollapalooza, and Cage the Elephant was the choice. They play on Sunday at 5:15 on the PlayStation stage out of Lollapalooza.
great lineup this weekend.
Hang me up to dry. That was my initiation into Cage the Elephant. What a great cut that is.
Sean Marshall's on here in the 7th. Cubs lead 3-2. Giannis bounces. Aramis Ramirez fields and gets him. 42-245. Second largest crowd of the year here at Wrigley Field. Votto is 0 for 2 with a walk. He came in red hot, having hit in 9 in a row. He has not homered against the Cubs this season, but he has 17 over the course of his career. Caught the corner, 1-1. Reigning NL MVP, reigning NL Player of the Week. Took his league leading 76th walk back in the 3rd against Dempster. Inside that time, 2-1.
Sean Marshall's done a nice job on the Reds' first baseman. Only 2 for 12 lifetime. Struck out his last 3 plate appearances against Sean Marshall.
Three and 1. This is Marshall's inning. Nobody up in the bullpen. Three and 2. Couldn't get him to bite. Under the best eye in the league as he takes his second walk here today. Take the Cubs with you wherever you go this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Cubs game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit Cubs.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. American Idol season 10 winner Scotty McCreery, second youngest winner of American Idol, will conduct the stretch. As Phillips bats, 1 on, 1 out, and Cubs lead 3-2. High fly to straightaway center. Campana makes a catch right near the 400-foot sign. Throw back to first. Votto will get back in time as Brandon Phillips just missed. Campana, with no room to spare, makes a catch. 2 down.
Hitting coaches love that speed on the bases. Pitchers love speed in the outfield. Tony Campana just turns his back to home plate, runs as far as he can, leaps up and makes a catch right up against the vines in straightaway center field. Oh, that ball made a loud noise off the bat of Phillips, but right at the 400 mark, Campana with the catch. Tries to double off Joey Votto, who had rounded second base. Unfortunately, the throw a little bit offline back to the infield.
And Phillips almost in disbelief. There's Jay Bruce. Brandon Phillips should know what it's like to rob somebody of a hit. The Gold Glove second baseman.
Well, he took one away from Tony Campana earlier in the ball game, jumping up to catch a line drive that was headed for right center field. So Tony Campana repays the favor.
That's that Tony Phillips combination you referred to earlier. Strike on Jay Bruce. 2 strikes to Bruce. First a check on Votto. Fastball that time a little high, 1-2. Marshall ready. Here it is.
Joey Votto over there at first base had some pretty good success his first couple years in the big league stealing bases because nobody expected him to run. Only 10 attempts this year. He's been successful 6 times. He would sneak attack opposing teams. He'd just take a walking lead down there at first base and keep going right into a stolen base attempt.
Struck him out. Stretch time.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, American Idol winner Scotty McCreery.
All right, fans, let me hear you. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame, 'cause it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Let's get some runs.
Walked Votto, but got out of the top of the 7th with no damage. Cubs leading 3-2 as they'll try to add on against the Reds bullpen. Jose Arredondo is on, and Scotty McCreery, American Idol season 10 winner, with our 7th inning stretch. Nicely done. Congrats.
Thank you so much. That was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
You sound like you're from Minnesota. No, you're from North Carolina.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've never heard the Minnesota one before. That's good. Wow, this is crazy being here.
So, what did you think it would be like, and was it like you had anticipated?
It was everything I dreamed of. I'm telling you, being up here and seeing this crowd from this point of view, it's wild. I can see why some people would forget the words up here, get nervous.
Well, I noticed you didn't even have to look at the words.
Yeah, I grew up with baseball, so I think if I had messed them words up, Daddy might have smacked me around a little bit. And the pitch. Ball.
You know, usually we tell our guests to give them a little advice, start low and start slow when they sing the song, because everybody's a little nervous. I didn't have to tell you to start low. I knew that was going to be no problem.
Oh, well, thank you. It's something that I don't know where it came from, but I want to call a home run. Hit me a home run.
Castro's on to lead off the inning.
Yeah, you were a ball player in high school, right? A pitcher, is that right?
Yes, sir. I was a pitcher. I got my number on, number 8.
Number 8, huh?
Yes, sir.
What did you feature? Fastball, curveball?
I was a fastball slider kind of guy. My slider's what got me out of jams, because my fastball wasn't much to be reckoned with. But.
Did you have this voice when you were 10?
Not 10. My mama said it was about 13. It kind of dropped off a cliff on me.
Why do I feel like I'm talking to Elvis?
Elvis?
Yeah, that's a compliment.
Yes, well, thank you. I don't know. Thank you very much. This is wild. I actually saw the Cubs play last week in St. Louis. We had a show up there, and I don't sing till the very end of the show, so I made my way across the street to the stadium to watch the Cubs play a little bit of ball.
How do you compare the Idol experience to singing at Wrigley Field?
You know, this is a lot bigger stage, but you know, this is a lot of fun. Idol can be stressful, but this is all just fun right here. Root for the Cubbies.
Well, I know it wasn't easy for you to win the Idol, but you were never in the bottom, right? I mean,
I don't think so. You know, and I just got to say thanks to the fans for that. But every week you just have to go out there and try to do your best. So luckily it worked out for me.
1-2 on Campana. Here's a pitch. Out in the left center. And it'll get down.
And there she goes.
Castro to third. Campana with a double.
He's safe. All righty.
Oh, what a game he's had.
Tony's smiling because he likes to run. He's willing to race anybody in the big leagues, anybody in pro football. You pick the sport, he'll race the fastest. He loves to showcase those wheels. This isn't even close at second base. Man, can he run. Nice quick swing that time. Got the barrel on it once again. The third at bat in this game. He's hit the ball right on the button.
So second and third, nobody out for the second consecutive inning. He could not push across a run in the sixth.
Just the intentional walk.
The intentional pass to Ramirez to load the bases. Scotty, I got to ask you, for someone as young as you are, to have your influences be people like Elvis and Johnny Cash and Conway Twitty.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
who got you into all those
you know,
classics?
I just kind of grew up with it. You know, I listened to it in the car with Mama. Daddy grew up in Maine, so he didn't listen to that stuff. But Mama raised me that way, and while the rest of the kids were listening to Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, I was rocking out the Hound Dog and Heartbreak Hotel.
Dusty Baker coming out. You've got Carlos Pena due up, and I think it's going to be Bill Bray, a left-hander for the Reds. Scotty McCreary, congratulations. Nice job with the stretch today, and we hope to see you back at Wrigley very soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun.
Of course.
Thank you.
17-year-old Scotty McCreery.
Listen,
If only
well,
we had that confidence when we were
oh
that
man,
age.
you kidding me? Because you listen to his mama.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Cubs already leading by a run, trying to get their 6th consecutive win. Here's a pitch. Ball 1. One thing you know with Carlos Pena at the plate and the bases loaded, that pitcher has to throw strikes. Last night, Pena walked with the bases full to push across the game tying run. The Cubs would win it on Marlon Byrd's sac fly. Ooh. 1-1.
Fastball, slider, changeup combination from Bray. He'll use the slider mostly against the lefties, use the changeup against the righties. Able to rush a high 91-mile-an-hour heater right by Pena that time.
One offering. Pena couldn't hold. Oh, he did. Woo. Wow. We'll get another look, but I don't know if we need to. Cubs got a break.
Yeah, it looked like it from up here. We'll take another look from a side angle.
I mean, that's almost, that's a 3/4 swing and a huge break in this at bat. 2-1.
What Greg Maddux has said for years, that's the biggest swing pitch in at bat. That 1-1 pitch, whether the count goes to 1-2 when the pitcher's in full command, or 2-1 where the hitter is in command.
A high drive to left. Carlos Pena just missed one. It'll be a sac fly. As Castro scores, man, he gave it a ride. 4-2. Campana not able to tag as the throw went toward third.
Fastball out over the plate. Not one of the stronger swings we've seen from Carlos Pena, but he got the barrel of the bat on it. Got a lot of backspin on that fly ball. Unfortunately, the wind continues to blow in and knock that one down just enough that Alonso was able to make the catch with his back up against the vines.
Jeff Baker's going to hit for DeWitt. And a counter move by Dusty, who has big Logan on Drusick available, and here he comes. And the Cubs adding on, and they'll try to add some more as they lead 4-2 here in the bottom of the 7th. National League versus lefties with a .357 average, and Dusty Baker takes out the lefty, puts in the righty on Drusick, and gets a swing and a miss on a breaking ball.
55th game of the season for Logan Ondrusek. Fastball, cutter, curveball, splitter pitcher.
Careywood prepping for the 8th. And the Cubs now leading 4-2. Fouled away, 1-2. The Cubs hang on today. They would improve to 15-9 in Ryan Dempster's starts, including 12-4 over his last 16. Been a big turnaround for him after a very rough first month.
The way the Reds play defense against Jeff Baker leaves a lot of holes on that right side of the infield. Joey Votto always plays well off the bag at first. And Tony Phillips jockeying with Tony Campana. Tony Phillips, I say it again, Brandon Phillips. Jockeying Tony Campana back to the bag at second, leaving a big hole on that right side.
Popped into right for Bruce. Campana ready to tag, but Bruce will keep him there. He's got a very good arm. And with 2 outs, it's Soriano against the 6'8" right-hander. One strike to Soriano. He's 0 for 3. Slide step. Curveball missed.
The first foul tip by Alfonso Soriano rattled around the glove of Ramon Hernandez. Ultimately ends up way up near the webbing. Drops into his bare hand before it hits the ground.
Cued right back to the pitcher. Drusick will flip to Votto, and the inning is over. The Cubs add 1 on the sac fly by Pena. It's 4-2. Barney comes into play second. And Kerry Wood will pitch. He was really good last night. Came on and got a couple of outs in the 8th inning. A strikeout and a flyout. Mostly cloudy, but a very comfortable Friday afternoon here in Chicago. Fastball is low and away to Hernandez. Deep left. Soriano will watch it go. It's a leadoff home run for Hernandez. That's his 11th of the year, and it's 4-3. Fourth homer allowed by Kerry Wood.
Four-seam fastball just off of the inside corner. When the hitter's ahead in the count, he's cheating a little bit to get to that Kerry Wood fastball, and that time Hernandez got the barrel on it and hit it to the part of the ballpark where it's likely to go today. Wind is still pushing in from center field a little bit, but you pull them down that left field line, they got a chance to go.
When you go back, Cubs were fortunate they got one, but in the 6th and 7th, 2nd and 3rd, nobody out both innings, and they could only get a grand total of 1 tack-on run. You hope it's enough. The 2-0 to Alonso is inside. 3-0 with Frazier on deck. Three and two. Woody's back in it. Fireballing Aroldis Chapman, who has been lights out lately up in the Cincinnati bullpen. That will be fair, and they'll put the tying run in scoring position with nobody out as Alonso doubles.
Well, you can see why the Reds like his bat. He's put together some real good plate appearances in this game. A slashing line drive down that left field line this time. And he lumbers into second base with a double. Now will be taken down for a pinch runner.
Well, Chris Heisey is able to run. Again, we mentioned the left oblique tweak the other night in Houston. James Russell now up. Trouble here for Kerry Wood. Leadoff homer, then a double. Frazier, kind of a weak attempt at a bunt. Fred Lewis on deck. Frazier late on that fastball.
In a 4-year minor league career, Frazier had 1 sacrifice bunt. None up here at the major league level.
A pop up Coy Hill with no play. Ball landed near the scout section, and they all scattered. Come on, guys, that's routine.
Yeah, it's not their first rodeo. They let the fans who maybe are at their only game of the summer fight over that baseball. They just got out of the way.
Step off, and Coy now will head out to the mound.
A lot of different things you can do in an 0-2 count to an aggressive power hitting youngster like Frazier. You could throw another high fastball up out of the strike zone, try to get him to chase that. You could throw that cutter off the outside corner, definitely out of the zone, try to get a chase pitch there. Well, Kerry Wood could drop that curveball on him. Whatever it is, you've got to throw it with conviction, and that time Coy Hill and Kerry Wood could not get together on what pitch to throw, so they went out to the mound to talk it over.
He got him on the curve.
Well, Frazier had a pretty good rip at the high fastball on the previous pitch, and Woody just drops a perfect curveball at the knees, inner third of the plate. Get that young hitter speeding up his bat to catch up to a fastball. He's going to be susceptible to that breaking ball, and Woody threw one of his best curves of the year right there.
Here comes Fred Lewis in the pitcher's spot. 9 for 20. It's a .450 average in the pinch with a homer and 5 RBIs. Left-handed hitter, cousin of former Cub Matt Lawton, and a former second rounder of the Giants out of Southern University in 2002. He's been with the Giants, Blue Jays, and now the Reds. Fastball, 1-1. Hit for the cycle as a Giant in 07 at Colorado. Foul tip, 1-2.
No messing around with a cutter here. 96-mile-an-hour four-seam fastball. Just rushed right on past Fred Lewis that time.
Tying run. It's pinch runner Chris Heisey second, 1 out, and a 1-2 count on Lewis.
Ideally, just the opposite is true here. Kerry Wood with a curveball there that Lewis just got a piece of, slowed his bat down a little bit. I like that 96-mile-an-hour heater he threw by him. I'd come back with that one again. Well, only 95, but Lewis very tardy that time.
He struck him out. 2 away.
Boy, that was the perfect use of a cutter right there. He had thrown some four-seam fastballs, threw one right by Lewis. Very late on another one, he fouled off a curveball. Had yet to show him that cut fastball until the strikeout pitch. Started in the zone, slid off that inside corner, down underneath his hands. Strike 3. I think some guys fall in love with that cutter, and it's an easy pitch to fall in love with, but when you've got 2 other good pitches like Woody does, he can pick his spots to use that cutter when a hitter's not expecting it or expecting the straight fastball and get some swings and misses.
Two to Stubbs. This all Texas matchup. Swing and a miss. Tough start to the inning for Kerry Wood. He gave up the homer and the double, but then struck out 3 in a row. 4-3 Cubs. Summary. Visit your local Honda dealer today to test drive the 2011 Honda Cross Tour, available with 4-wheel drive. Mike Leake got through 6, gave up a couple of homers, including Tony Campana's inside the park home run. He's the first Cub to hit his first career home run as an inside the parker at Wrigley Field ever. Todd Frazier goes from third to left, with former Cub Miguel Cairo now at third. And we talk about hard throwers a lot. This is the hardest throwing of them all. Aroldis Chapman from Cuba, 6'4", 196. Well, that's his slow fastball.
Just getting loose. His average fastball, according to Fangraphs this season, just a tick over 98 miles an hour. We've seen him surpass that century mark a number of times.
First time he's ever faced the Cubs.
Oh, by the way, his average speed on the slider is 87. That last one at 89.
nasty. One away. Two on the slider. The fastest pitch ever recorded on the Pitch FX system last year was 105 on a pitch he threw at San Diego. He did register one at 106 on the stadium gun this season in Cincy. One to Coy Hill.
We've talked about facing hard throwers in the past, and the natural tendency for the hitter is to swing as hard as the pitcher is throwing, which plays right into his hands. The key is to swing quick, get the barrel of the bat into that hitting zone as quickly as possible.
Bunted foul by Hill. Chapman is now retired 29 of the last 30 batters he's faced, including 16 strikeouts. Came off the DL on June 24th and has given up 3 hits and almost 19 innings since. Left shoulder inflammation was the reason he was on the DL as he strikes out Coy Hill.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Len, that slider that he's throwing in the high 80s really doesn't have much break to it. It's just the fact that it's a little bit off speed, or a lot off speed actually, from his fastball. I haven't really seen the kind of movement that you normally see on a left-handed pitcher's slider, but serves the purpose as a good off-speed pitch.
Carlos Marmol is up. He's been really busy lately, and that's been a good thing. He has saved 4 of the 5 wins on this streak.
Just threw it through the backstop. When he pitches, you better have a mitt in the front row. I mean, this one literally went through the net in the backstop back there behind home plate, rattled around a few empty seats.
First at bat for Darwin Barney. 3-0. Most catchers will tell you catching a 99-mile-an-hour fastball is not that big a deal. It's more about the movement.
And when you throw 99, there's very little movement. It's going to be a pretty straight fastball. There's just the physics of getting a ball from point A to point B that quickly. It just tells you it's not going to move very much.
2-out walk, and that'll bring up Castro. Oh, this will be a fun matchup. Castro only 21. Chapman is 23. Chapman defected from Cuba before a tournament in the Netherlands. He established residence in the Principality of Andorra, which is the 6th smallest country in Europe, in the Eastern Pyrenees Mountains next to Spain and France. I know you've spent a lot of time there.
Yeah.
And the story goes that before he signed with Cincinnati, knew very little about the major leagues. He had never watched a game on TV, had to look at a map to see where all the teams played. Punched into shallow center, base hit. Guess how many hits for Starlin Castro today?
Oh, let me guess. 3?
3.
Every time they play that national anthem, he gets 3 hits. It's amazing.
Also in days that end in Y.
Yeah. It jammed a little bit, but got enough of it to float it out there into shallow center field. Drew Stubbs playing very deep. That ball drops in front. A couple Cub runners on here for Tony Campana.
That's a 19th 3-hit game for Castro this season. The single season record for 3-hit games, Bill Buckner had 24 of them back in 1980 when he won the batting title. That's very much within reach.
Well, that left side of the infield's wide open for Tony Campana to attempt a bunt for base hit here. Cairo playing way back.
I'm really surprised that he's playing as deep as he is in any situation against Campana, even with 2 outs.
I'm more surprised that Tony Campana hasn't tried to bunt one of the first 2 pitches down that direction. Usually he's very astute at knowing where the infield defenders are. You may notice the Cubs on deck circle is vacated right now with a left-handed hitter at the plate and a pitcher on the mound throwing a million. Ramos Ramirez decides he doesn't want to get in the line of fire in that on deck circle. Now he is going to have to hustle up there and help the runner should Tony Campana get a base hit.
Two on Campana. Here it is. That's why. Look out. Looking ahead to the 9th, Yanish, Votto, and Phillips due up against the closer Marmol. Runners go. Base hit left field. Here comes a throw by Frazier, and Barney's going to be out by a couple of steps. Got to send him with 2 outs. And Frazier just moved to left from third. Gets him. Fort Wayne, Indiana, as Carlos Marmol tries to make it 5 saves during what the Cubs hope is now a 6-game winning streak. Paul Janisch will lead it off. 1-run game, 4-3. And he hit him on the first pitch, a slider. And as we start this 9th inning, the Reds have the most losses by 1 run in the majors. They're 16-25. They've been in a lot of these situations.
It's the old backup slider, just never really took the break. If anything, it moved further into Janisch.
Joey Votto will not be bunting. No. At least he won't be told to. Caught the outside corner. One hit, a home run, and 5 punch-outs. I think we'll see Marmol tomorrow. But his manager going to use him today with a 1-run lead.
There's an old saying in this game, you do what you got to do to win a game today. You'll worry about tomorrow.
That's right. Mark Riggins looks on. You can strike out Joey Votto. He's punched out over 100 times each of the last 3 years. Walks a lot of deep counts. One of the best hitters in the game today.
Saw Marmol checking on Janisch over there at first base. Paul Janisch, a very good base runner, not a base stealer. Only 2 out of 3 on this season. But it's a good thing that Carlos pays a little attention to him over there. Don't let him get a walking lead and get a cheap stolen base here in a 1-run game.
Swing and a miss. He got him. Big first out.
Guess what? Slider. Inner third with some downward movement. That's a danger area on Joey Votto because he's a good low ball hitter, especially on the inner third of the plate. But with that downward movement, he just can't get a piece of it.
Phillips just missed a 2-run homer in the 7th. As Tony Campana made the catch right up against the vines in center. 1 strike. Backed him off the plate and still almost came back and caught the zone. 1-1.
Now Coy Hill wanted it outside. It ends up just off of that inside corner, but you could see the reaction by the hitter. Thought that slider was coming right at him. Again.
Phillips with by far the most plate appearances against Marmol. 20 of them. He has 2 hits and 18 at bats. A couple of walks. Laid off the slider, 2-2. Carlos Zambrano tomorrow against Johnny Cueto. Tap foul. Randy Wells for the Cubs on Sunday. Bronson Arroyo will go for Cincy.
If you knew Carlos Marmol had enough command to throw a fastball on the outside corner right now, he would probably freeze Brandon Phillips. Crazy. He'd been jelly-legging on every one of these sliders, even the one that was off the plate away. He's not sure he wants to stay in there against the Marmol slider. You could really lock him up with a fastball away.
Colvin in. 2 down. For our Chicago viewers, stay tuned. 5 o'clock coming up. Mark Sapelsa, Julie Unruh, and Tom Skilling standing by with the WGN News at 5. Jay Bruce with Giannis still at first base. He got hit by the first pitch of this inning, and he's still at first with 2 outs. Bruce able to hold up. Three and one. Hernandez on deck. Marmol today grabbing sole possession of 6th on the Cubs all-time games pitched list. Number 369. Working hard here in the 9th. Ball 4. Brings up Hernandez, who cranked a home run off Kerry Wood in the 8th to make it a 1-run game. Pitch was inside. It was a slider, but Hernandez didn't give any ground. He was certainly willing to be hit by that pitch. Miguel Cairo is on deck. That's a strike. The 2-1 from Marmol. Barney picks it up, and the Cubs win for the 6th consecutive time. 4-3 the final here at Wrigley Field as they send the Reds to their 26th one-run loss. So the Cubs now with a 6-game winning streak. They'll go for 7 straight tomorrow. They beat the Reds 4-3 in the series opener.